Okay, now Tony's here. Oh my God. Tony, can you hear me and see me? So I got Tony, 3 people. We're going to get this. Okay. Okay, Tony, can you hear me and see me? Okay, thanks, Manoj. Okay, we got Manoj and Tony on. If you know anybody that was in the last one that just kicked me out, can you let them know that we're here now? And we had a lot of people on there too. Okay. Okay, why don't we'll just wait a minute and hopefully everybody gets the right link. I just put it on Twitter and Facebook. So maybe if Tony and some other people want to tweet it and share it. Okay, I see some more people joining. Okay, good, good. I don't know what happened on the last one. Somehow I got kicked out and it didn't let me get back in. So then it just canceled the entire thing. So my apologies. Okay, we're getting some people back. If you know anybody that was on there, please just send them this link if you can. We're going to get this right one of these times. Okay, good. Kathy's here. Okay, good, 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 good. Okay, we're getting everybody back from the other one. The link is at the top of the page. You can tweet it and post it on Facebook. And so some people already did that. Or you can actually tweet the actual URL at the top, which is blab.im/the Hope Association leaderblab. Okay, we're getting people back. We had a lot of people in that other one. So my apologies to everyone. But hopefully we can get everyone who was there. Okay, good. Mark was there, I saw. Okay, hopefully I guess we can just spread the word and kind of, I just want to make sure, okay, Kathy's here. Okay, good. That's the most important person. So let me just first welcome everyone to our second edition of the leaderblab. And it wouldn't be a blab if there wasn't major technical difficulties. Last month there was no sound. Today we had to basically get an entirely new link because somehow I got kicked off. But we're here now, and it's great to see everybody. And I know a lot of people are excited about the people that we got here today, and I'm really, really excited, very pleased that we got some great people here today that are going to share with us some wonderful stuff about their story and different stuff like that. Before I jump into things, I just wanted to, because contrary to popular belief, I am becoming more of an expert in blab. I know the last 5 minutes notwithstanding, but there's some stuff I wanted to point out that I think would help the conversation and would help the discussion. So let me just point out some features that maybe we didn't mention last month. So if you are using a desktop, like if you're using a computer, on the left of the screen, there is a box for questions. So if in your like text message or in your messaging, if you put \Q, and actually maybe I'll ask Andrew to do like a run through of it. If you do type \Q and then space, you can type in a question and it'll appear in like a question box for our speakers. So maybe if somebody wants to give that a shot, I can just kind of show you, okay, Andrew just typed a question, do you love the Redskins? And so that will appear in our questions, and then I can actually pull that up and put it on the screen so Kathy and Andrew and they can kind of address it and speak to it. So that's another way to ask questions instead of just putting it in the message column itself. So that's something you can do. But of course, the most preferable way to ask questions is after I bring Kathy and Andrew to kind of share their story, we'll open it up to questions. And it's an opportunity for you to jump on the call and face-to-face really interact with people that you normally wouldn't interact with or wouldn't have access to. So it's a great way to kind of have a discussion and dialogue with some wonderful speakers. So unless there are any other questions, I know people are still coming in from the previous link. What I'll do at this time is I'll ask Kathy and Andrew if they want to jump in and kind of call in or request to join, and I'll bring them up. And so while they're doing that, actually, very good, they're calling right now, and I'll bring them on. And hopefully this works. There we go. Okay, you guys are on. Okay,
good.
How are you guys doing?
Good. How are you?
How are you?
Good. Sorry about the technical difficulties, but it comes with the territory with us. Okay, so it's par for the course.
No problem.
We're
no problem.
But I was just telling them, I don't know if you were on, that if you want to share this link on like Facebook or Twitter and kind of update your people, that'll help out, because I know we had a lot of people on there before. So
yeah,
I
just did. I put the new link on Facebook. So
okay, good.
Okay, great. This is the last thing I'll say, and then I'll turn it over to Kathy and Andrew. I actually was going to give them like a full-length introduction, and I'm not going to, because I want them to kind of share their and I don't want to kind of steal their thunder, because their story is something that really touched me. And so I'll just give an informal introduction. We actually, our paths crossed a few months ago, and I had a tremendous blessing to kind of grab dinner with them and kind of spend an evening with them. And me and my wife went out there and got linked up to them through some friends. And the thing that strikes me, and I think will strike everyone on this blab over the next few minutes, is their story is an incredible story. And that's really what Hope is all about, is bringing these incredible stories to our supporters and volunteers and followers. So the first thing I was really struck with was their story. And it's a great story, and you'll hear it hopefully in the next few minutes. The other thing that really touched me is their success and the simplicity with which they kind of carry themselves. So they probably won't get into it, and I'll just tell you all, they have an extremely successful company and have become extremely successful people, and you'd never know it just having dinner with them. So it was something that I really enjoyed, kind of the time with them, and I'm excited to bring their story to you guys. And with that, I'll kind of turn it over to them to kind of run with this. And like I said, you can ask questions on the left side, and we'll get to the questions. And then after they're done, more and more people can jump in and request to join.
Okay, great. Thank you, Steve. Thank you for the introduction. As Steve said, I'm Andrew. This is my wife, Kathy.
hello.
Thank you for having us. This is our first ever blab here, and I'm not tech savvy at all. So any issues that come up, please send a tweet to Steve, poke him on Facebook, let him know that things are going wrong.
I don't think you can poke on Facebook.
Okay, I guess there's no more poking on Facebook. So I guess just let Steve know, because we won't be able to help you out.
Yeah.
So
this is called the blind leading the blind, Andrew.
yeah, okay, no problem. Well, we'll dive right into it. I think what we want to do today, the topic today is how to turn your passion into a career. And I've been fortunate enough by my life circumstances to do just that, to turn my passion into my career. And it's what I do every day now. Kathy and I live here in Southern California. We have two young boys, 6 and 5, Isaac and Joshua, who will probably make an impromptu cameo randomly as when we talk here, so you might see them. But I think how we're going to structure this today is very simply, I will give you a background of my story, kind of how this happened, how this came about, a little bit about our company, and towards the end, some advice, and maybe we could answer any questions that may come up. So that'll be the structure for today. So with that said, we could just dive right into it. And I think the story goes back, and kind of how Orgain, or how the company came together, really was my senior year of high school. I was 17 years old, felt perfectly fine. I was playing varsity sports. Everything was going pretty well. Randomly, one day, I felt a small lump in my lower abdomen. I didn't think anything really of it, asked my dad about it, who's a pediatrician, and he said, well, if it doesn't go away by tomorrow, let's get it checked out. So we got it checked out. I had a biopsy, and much to our surprise, it ended up being cancer. It was the long name for it is rhabdomyosarcoma, which is a aggressive muscle cancer. So needless to say, that was a huge, huge curveball in life, and the cancer wasn't localized. It had spread. So this is one of our kids here distracting us. So because the cancer had spread, I had to undergo, of course, all the conventional therapy. So I had to go 2 major surgeries. I had to undergo chemotherapy, radiation, kind of the whole 9. And as a result, I lost a lot of weight. And I'm sure you have family members or have friends that have gone through chemo, and it's a very, very difficult journey. And my chemo was in the hospital. Every 3 weeks, I would get an intense chemotherapy session, go home, try to recover for 3 weeks, and then as soon as I started feeling a little better, 3 weeks would be up, and I'd be back in the hospital getting another treatment. And this was a course of over the course of 12 months, so it was extremely rigorous. Month 3 or 4, I got down to 100 pounds. I had lost so much weight and didn't feel good at all. And my doctor said, listen, you have to get nutrition in you. We have to find a way to get nutrition in your body. And I asked him, so what do I do? I'm desperate. And he handed me a bottle of Ensure. And he said, you need to start drinking this. Drink as much as you can so that you could get your weight up, feel better, and get back on your feet. Of course, my mom heard this, went out to the store and bought 12 cases of Ensure, and that's what I was drinking. I drank it every day. I drank quite a bit of it, and I was under the impression that this was healthy. It came from my doctor, said doctor recommended on the front, tasted absolutely horrible. So I thought whatever was inside had to be good for you. It was also during this time that my immune system was down. I was immunocompromised, so I couldn't really leave the house or the hospital too much. I couldn't really be around people. So to pass the time, I read books, and the topic I chose was nutrition and wellness and organic food. And that was a far cry from anything that I had done before. I was 17 years old. I was in and out. Taco Bell were staples in my diet. And I didn't think anything of it, but I wanted to find a way to dig myself out of this hole. So I picked nutrition. And the turning point for me was as I got into my therapy and started reading more and more, I came across a page in a book. It said, here's a list of ingredients that you should never, ever put in your body. And I just so happened to have a bottle of Ensure in my hand. And I said, let me just make sure none of this stuff is in this bottle. I put them side by side, and it read exactly like the page with all kinds of horrible ingredients. So things like genetically modified soy protein, high fructose corn syrup, artificial flavors and preservatives, and it just got worse from there. My doctor walked in the room, and I asked him, I said, I have to ask you, this product that you're giving me, that I'm reading that it's the worst possible product for me. What do you think of that? And I'm really in my lowest of lows right now, and I need help, and I'm reading this is the worst thing possible. And the doctor was completely honest. He said, the truth is, it's really not that healthy for you, but this is all we have in the form of liquid nutrition. If you go out there and you find something better, let me know. I'd love to recommend something else to my patients, but we don't have anything. This is what we have. So I went out and I tried to search all over the place. I called all across the US searching for a healthier alternative, and I couldn't find anything. So I stopped drinking these shakes, and at home I got myself a blender. I got a Vitamix blender, and I just started blending these organic shakes at home, replacing all those bad ingredients with organic, healthy ingredients. And that's what I basically lived on. And I did this for the remainder of my treatment. It's the only change I made in my diet. And I ended up gaining close to 20 pounds, felt much better, regained my energy, my strength, and attributed a lot of my recovery to these organic shakes. And I was never a believer in nutrition prior, but it really made me a believer. I felt much, much better. And that stuck with me. I later went on to college, medical school, residency, had a lot of patients asking me, I'm looking for more nutrition, I want more energy, more protein, is there anything that you could recommend? And I really couldn't, in good conscience, say, go out and buy Ensure or Boost, because I knew the ingredients. So I'd give them a long list of ingredients, and I would tell them, go to the store, blend this, and it was a good idea in theory, but none of the patients were compliant. Only 5% would actually do this. So they wanted something convenient. They wanted something ready to drink. So it was during my residency, of all times, my internship year. Kathy was actually pregnant with our first child, Isaac, that I felt compelled to really start this company. And I started the company right there and then during my internship. I went home and I talked to Kathy about it, and I said, I want to develop a product that's a better alternative for patients and for healthy, active lifestyles, a better protein shake, essentially. And Kathy is a PA. She has her master's in nutrition, and she helped me with that. So maybe you could talk a little bit about that.
Yeah, I know. Yeah. I remember that day, like yesterday, he came home from work, and we had our little apartment in Riverside, and he's like, okay, I'm going to do this. I'm like, do what? He's like, I'm going to make this drink. I'm like, really? He said, yes. I'm like, you're crazy. I'm pregnant and you're a first-year resident, but okay, whatever you want, I support you. So he said, all right, let's think about it. If you can put everything, we want that like would be healthy and a really healthy meal, just put it together and drink, like what would it contain? What would it consist of? So we thought, okay, it needs the proper macronutrients, the carbs, the protein, the fat, the right ratio of those things, vitamins, minerals, fruits, veggies, basically everything that you can pack into a drink. Yeah. Like, let's do it. Anything that we would feel comfortable drinking ourselves or giving to our kids. So it'd have to be really high quality, good ingredients. So that was kind of the beginning of our formulation, right? Yeah. But it didn't turn out, it wasn't that easy.
Yeah, it proved not to be that easy. I think taking an idea in your head and translating it into a product that goes on the shelf, there's a big jump there. So we thought it would be easy. It proved not to be the case. We had a lot of, several food scientists hang up on us and say it's just not possible, or this is a project that would take 3 years to accomplish. Finally, we found a food scientist crazy enough to work with us, and I spent 3 days in Texas with him in a lab. And we went through 55 different formulations, and we're about to throw in the towel really. And the last formulation actually tasted good. We tried it; it had all the ingredients we wanted, and it came together. So that was really from God, and that's how we started. So we took this product and we said, great, we have a product. It's in a blank package. We need a name. And I really wanted to have a name that included the word organic. And the mantra for the company, the motto, was gain health, gain energy, gain life. And so we just combined organic and gain and formed Orgain. And it was kind of a little bit of a weird name, but it stuck. And that's the name that we've used on all our packaging and the brand, of course. And it's worked well, thankfully.
And so,
yeah.
All right, that started in what year?
Sorry, say it again, Steve.
That your company started in what year?
Yeah.
What year? So we launched the company. Yes, in 2008, I formed the company. We launched the product in 2009. In 2009 is when we launched it. Going a step back, though, we didn't know what to do with the product or how to even get it in the marketplace. I made some phone calls and found out that there just so happened to be the largest food show in the U.S. happened to be 15 minutes from our house. Mm-hmm. So Kathy and I went to this food show. We had blank packaging. They gave us a booth in the basement. Mm-hmm. We didn't even really have a logo or anything, and just presented the product to people, random people walking by. I would tell them the story, what's inside, and we just kind of hoped for the best. One guy came and took a keen interest to the product, asked me a bunch of questions, and then said, would you like to come and present this to us? And I said, sure, I'd love to present it to you. Thinking he had, it was a small clinic in Anaheim or a rehab center. I didn't know what it was. And he gave me his card, and it just so happened to be the global Whole Foods buyer. So it was the right guy at the right time. And he said, can you come present it in a few weeks? So fast forward a few weeks, I found myself in Austin, Texas, presenting this product to Whole Foods. It just so happened the presenting before me was Heather Mills. So she was the Beatles divorcee that had hundreds of millions of dollars, and she was there before me presenting and had 10 guys in business suits, and she was before me, and I just had my 2 bottles of Orgain.
And I think you actually forgot to pack your shoes that trip, right?
Yeah.
I think you wore tennis shoes with your suit.
Yeah. To make matters worse, I packed comfortable tennis shoes that had paint all over them. I wanted to be comfortable on the plane, and I had a suit. I woke up that day and realized I didn't pack my dress shoes. So if you can. If you can imagine, if you could picture an Egyptian guy walking into Whole Foods holding a chocolate vanilla shake and a suit with sneakers that have paint on them, I think you can imagine.
I can totally picture that.
Yeah, had it in the bag.
Yeah.
So, needless to say, there was moments where I wanted to just I was thinking of darting for the door, getting on a plane, and coming back home. But I, was very honest and went to the front of my Whole Foods presentation and was very transparent with them and said, the truth is, I'm here by myself. I don't have businessmen in suits with me today. I don't have a fancy PowerPoint presentation. But what I do have is a product that I think is going to revolutionize and change a category. So they were very receptive to the product. We didn't hear back from them for a little while. And then later, we're going to say hi real quick so they can go back. Sorry, just real quick. We're going to say hi to Isaac and Joshua, who are dying to get on camera. Yeah. This is Isaac. And our son, Joshua, where are you? Say hi.
Isaac, you are famous.
Isaac, you're now famous, buddy. And this is Joshua. So,
how are you, buddy?
Say hi, guys.
Hi.
Hi. Okay. All right, go back to thank you.
Wrestling.
Yeah. So Whole Foods, after I presented the product to Whole Foods, they called me about 4 to 6 weeks later and said, can you handle a national launch of the product? I had no idea what that meant at the time. And I said, yes, sure, we'll do that. They asked, can you provide FOB pricing? And I was a language I didn't understand, but anything they asked, I just said yes. And I said, yes, FOB pricing, you got it. And I had no idea what that meant. Kathy thought it meant, fresh off the boat. Obviously, it didn't mean that.
Right on board.
But yeah, it meant basically a pickup price. So we learned a lot of things very early. It was a sink or swim approach. And by the grace of God, we produced this product somehow and got it onto store shelves. It was a few days late than what they had requested, but somehow, some way, it made it on store shelves at every Whole Foods in the nation when we started, which is not normally how you start a company. And somehow, some way, the product sold. We had 0 marketing dollars, 0 marketing budget, 0 experience. The product went on shelf. And I think there was such a need for a product like this that it ended up selling. And it wasn't to cancer patients or nourishment like I originally thought. It was for moms on the go, busy professionals, athletes, active lifestyles. And we've been extremely blessed. The product started in a few hundred stores back in 2009. Today, we're in over 25,000 stores nationally. We have our key retail partners are Costco, Target, again, Whole Foods, Vitamin Shop, Walgreens, Amazon. So we've grown quite a bit. We've made a lot of mistakes along the way. It's been an extremely difficult journey, but it's we've had a lot of fun doing it. So the company has expanded quite a bit. And when we started, it was just a couple shakes, a chocolate vanilla shake, and now we're making powders. We're making. Kathy will show you just a quick so you see. That's a protein powder that we make. And we also make nutritional shakes, ready to drink nutritional shakes. And we've expanded from just a couple different shakes to now we have, I'm not sure, about 40 different items that we make now that are sold.
I just so you know, Andrew, I was looking for my kid's Orgain.
Yes.
So he drank it. So it's in the trash.
Oh yeah, yeah. We have this is our kids product. So we make a kids product with a little monkey on it. So it helps with we have a picky eater. Yeah, there you go. Yeah.
So what it seems to me, and if there's a lag, let me know.
Yeah.
It might be my case, but some people are telling me there's a lag. This to me sounds like a labor of luck, essentially. Do you see it as a business, or do you see that like something like a calling?
You broke up a little bit,
He
Steve.
said labor of love.
Labor of
Do you
love.
see this as a business or
Yes.
something you love?
Sure. So I think certainly for me, it's been a labor of love. There are days where it feels like a business. There's a lot of travel involved. There's a lot of difficulties along the way. I think the one thing that keeps me going is that I do love what I'm doing. I do really enjoy it. There's a lot of people benefiting from it, which is the most important thing for me, most rewarding thing. So I think, there are days when you question what you're doing, or Kathy always tells me, I wish you'd go back to being a doctor so we could have a normal life. But I'll tell you that, when I was seeing patients, I would see, in a really busy day, 30 patients a day. Now we're reaching hundreds of thousands of people every day. And we get just wonderful letters coming in from people that are living on Orgain. We have 400 people where it's their sole source of nutrition now. And they're living on it, they're sustaining on it. So yes, most of the time it does feel like a business, but these are things that make it more of a labor of love. And I hear all this feedback. So
Sure. And I actually have more questions, but I see some questions popping up. So
yeah,
I'm gonna pop up a question. You let me know if you can see it.
Yes, I see it.
Okay, good. And so just actually,
so Steve, can everybody see this question, or do I need to repeat it?
I think everyone can see it. Somebody's trying to call in, but maybe if they type in their question before they call in, I can pull them up. But yeah, I think everyone can see it.
Yeah, so we could answer this question. It says, since you're in a leadership type of role, how did you refine and polish your leadership qualities? For example, always keeping your image sharp since all eyes are on you. And the honest answer is that in the beginning, I didn't really know what I was doing. Yeah. It's something that you just learn through mistakes and repeated mistakes. And I think the key is that knowing that in the beginning that I wasn't really, I didn't take a leadership role in the beginning. It was me. I was the sole employee for 4 years of the company. It was extremely, extremely difficult. Kathy helped tremendously, of course, in supporting me and helped actually with the company. But in being a leader, I think now that we have, we're up to about 40 or so employees now, I think the key is that, we work as a team. It's always we. I think always maintaining kind of a humble attitude, knowing that you will be humbled, knowing that every day is a new challenge and that it's going to humble you in a way that you wouldn't expect. And I really thought it was going to be easy. This was supposed to be a side project for me. I never, I did it on the side. I thought after work when I come home, I would sell shakes online as a side business. It proved not to be the case. And I found myself in a leadership role. And I think the key is to understand that everything that I've done to date, while I've worked extremely hard, has been as a result of God's grace, really. That's probably the most important thing that I try to remember every day and focus on every day. And yeah.
You were a physician, a practicing physician, who made a voluntary choice to leave kind of the medical field and go down this business path. Can you speak to kind of that leap of faith?
Yeah,
I think, Andrew, when we had this idea, he was a first-year resident, so he finished his residency, and he kind of came to this point. He's like, "What should I do? Should I go work, or should I need to do this? If I do this, it's got to be full time, And actually, his dad had to practice in Long Beach, where he was supposed to take over, and that was the original plan. But I think that was the huge leap of faith for us. Was like, no, and he's like, I'm not going to go see patients right now. I'm not going to go work in this practice. I'm going to do this full time and give my full commitment to this and see what happens. And it's definitely a risk. I think we had to kind of.
It was a huge risk. I mean, my dad had built a big practice. I was supposed to take it over. I worked with him after I finished residency for just a little while, for a few months. And it was hard for him really to understand, you just went to college, medical school, you just finished your residency, and you're going to go sell milkshakes. It didn't make sense, right? But I think you have to take that leap of faith. You have to trust in God. I knew that this is what I really enjoyed and what I loved. And I understood the risk, and I was willing to make that jump, knowing that, that I would be guided.
Sure. I mean, I think I think a lot of people, especially a lot of people tuning in, come to that fork in the road where they feel a tug on their heart to do something outside of the norm, outside of their, academia or whatever, and there's this gravitational pull that pulls people back and says, no, just do the easy, do the simple, do the mundane, because the risk is too great. So I feel like everyone kind of hits that fork in the road, and the difference is those that just have this kind of leap of faith mentality, like you said.
And I think part of that is being, quite frankly, sometimes being a little bit naive. Going into it not understanding how big of a journey it is and the struggles that are coming.
I think if we had known ahead of time that it would just be this hard, I don't even know if we would do it.
Yeah, I had no idea. Yeah. I had no idea, but I will say this, and this is probably the most important thing. As we got into it, and there was many challenges and a lot of forks in the road for us, and a lot of times where I was tempted to just throw in the towel and just say, it's not for me, and I didn't think I'd be working 18 hours a day. Every time I said that, I felt like God kind of put one foot in front of the other and guided me. And there was several situations where I thought there's simply no way out of this, it worked out. So I think that's the key. You take the leap of faith, knowing that you're going to have some extra help from the real CEO.
Sure. I know some people got some questions. Any other questions, either in person, using the question thing? I know there's a couple out there, I'm sure. Andrew again. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, while we wait for some more, actually somebody's calling in, so I'm going to bring in a brave soul, and he's coming face to face, and he's a volunteer.
Great.
So he's always looking for 15 minutes of fame right here. Hey, Joe, how are you, buddy?
Can you hear me?
Yes.
You're fine.
Hey, Andrew, Kathy, I just sat back and listened to your story. Wonderful story, very inspiring. I just want to applaud you guys for taking the risk and taking that step of faith. It's very inspiring for me to hear. I guess as somebody who, I love business. I love hearing your story and everything. What keeps you up at night? What's one thing that's always on your mind and constantly worrying you? Is it something about the business? Is it worrying about your family? What really, keeps you up at night?
Yeah, that's a great question. So I think on the business side, it's nothing is guaranteed. We're a small fish in the ocean, really, with what we're doing. So the competition is extremely fierce. We're dealing against companies that have multi-billion-dollar budgets, that have armies of sales teams. So you always think about, sometimes on the business side, things can go wrong, and you always have to be cautiously optimistic about your future and understanding that tomorrow, sometimes I cringe when I wake up in the morning when I check emails, knowing that there's always going to be something going wrong. So that does keep me up at night. On the family side too, and I think Kathy will attest to this, having that work-family balance is very difficult sometimes. And I was, quite frankly, I'd be the first to admit, I didn't do a good job of balancing it in the beginning. I was so consumed by my work, and felt so pressured to do, to succeed or make sure that the product was going to get into certain stores and whatnot, that it was hard to balance, life at home and with the kids and everything. So I've learned a lot. Certainly I have a lot of shortcomings and I still have a long ways to go. But I think from a family perspective, it takes a very defined, I'm going to stop working for a certain amount of time, devote that time to your family, and continue to improve on that. So I think just being mindful of these things are important.
Awesome. Thank you.
Now I get to kick off Joe.
Bye, guys. Thank you for
listening. See you, Joe.
My favorite part of this is getting to kick off people that I love. Any other questions? I see another question, but actually somebody else is calling in. So now, Joe started with the trend, and I think there's another person that I know here.
Hi, guys.
What's up?
Hey, Anthony.
Hi,
how's it going?
Good. How are you?
Good, how are you?
Thank you guys for being transparent and just being so open with your story. It is very inspiring. So I kind of have two questions. The first one is, as in business, as I'm sure you know, Andrew, it's all about seeing the vision of the future, but also to stay present in the moment. So how do you, and you can take this spiritually or business or whatever, but like, how is that process done, and how do you guys do it for yourself?
Yeah, I mean, I could speak about having a vision, right? I mean, our vision is, we have certain values with our company, and I've illustrated that to our team, and we talk about it on a regular basis. Things like, we always want to look forward and relentlessly raise the standard. That's one of our values. We always want to raise the standard, and whether that's our products or our employees, ourselves, anything we do, we want to continue to raise the standard. We also have a lend a hand component. Anyone that asks for product that can't afford it or is struggling, we do everything possible to help them. And I think we focus on that as our vision, as our values. Our core motto is to inspire healthy, vibrant lives. And we look at that as kind of, we apply that to the future, but also in the present, we apply that and say, are we doing this every day with the products that we release, the products we want to release, the way we talk to people, the way we communicate online. So I think that's the key, is having something that's core and sticking to it both in the long term and making sure that it's present as well. I don't know, what do you think? Anything else?
No, I think that's true. I think that's a hard balance to do, because you're always wanting more and trying to strive and gain, but you won't be successful unless you are today successful and just doing the best you can today. So I think you did a good job of doing both those things.
Awesome, thank you. And my follow-up question is actually for Kathy. Kathy, like Andrew, thank you for being transparent in regards to like your work life and how like there was some like issues there in regards to like time with family and stuff. Kathy, how did you deal with that in regards to like just being a supportive wife?
Oh yeah, that was definitely my challenge for sure. It's hard, it's hard because a part of you wants to be selfish and say, what about me? Like, spend time with me and the boys, and that's warranted. That's true. But a part of me, I look at it like, okay, this is also my sacrifice. Like, if I always think of like Abuna's wives and stuff. Not that, really very different wives. No. But that, like, their husbands are gone all the time.
No, I'm far from that. Let's just put that up.
But I mean, like, I think of their wives all the time. I'm like, their husbands are serving so many other people. They stay up late at night helping, other families. They're not home all the time. So it's also a sacrifice on the woman's part, So I think of it that way. Like, my sacrifice is to let him be, do what he needs to do to help people, and in that way, I indirectly get the blessings. I tell myself that, so that's my way of dealing with it. But at the same time, we've been firm about it. We've had like some serious conversations, and like there needs to be a stop to the work this weekend. You need to spend time with us. The boys and I miss you. We need quality time together. It can't always be about work, and I think Andrew's done a huge. Big improvements in that. In the beginning, he kind of got lost into everything, and now he definitely really tries to make time for us and the things that are important, to him, I think. But,
yeah, no, I certainly try. I've come a long ways.
Yeah.
I've come a long ways. I have a long road ahead of me still, but I've come a long ways. And it's difficult sometimes. I feel buried every day. Every day on a typical day, I get roughly 800 emails a day that I have to reply to. And I feel pressured that if I don't do this, by the end of the day, come 7 p.m., there's 600 left that I have to reply to. But I've been able to manage my time a lot better now, and I think cut things off, and focus on what's important. At the end of the day,
you can't do everything.
No, you can't do everything. And at the end of the day, if Orgain is gone tomorrow, I have to be okay with that, and I am fine with that. The most important thing to me is my family. Obviously their health, my health, and that kind of thing. So, maintaining that in your head and in your heart is important.
That's awesome. Thank you, guys.
I mean, if I didn't know any better, Tony's set up right there. He looks like the CEO of Orgain.
No, Tony. Looks presidential, really.
Thank you, Tony. Somebody else got a question? Somebody actually texted me. Okay, I'm going to keep Tony just for 1 second, then I'm going to kick him off because we've never had 4 people in a blab. Okay, so we're making history here.
Good.
Okay, we get 2 dash.
Oh, that's awesome.
Wow.
So now we have 4 guys in a blab. This is Chris Stefanos. I'll let him introduce himself.
What's up, guys? How's it going? Awesome story. Tony, good to see you, man. You're looking good as always.
What's up, buddy?
I have a question for you guys. So I guess this is, the breakthrough point for everybody. You work so hard, you study for all these years, you go through medical school, you go through residency, you kill yourself, all the student loans. then you have like this, I guess, this moment where you realize that this is something that you want to do. What was like the turning point that allowed you to kind of say, okay, I'm willing to put that all behind me and take this leap of faith?
I think while he was in residency, he was kind of doing a little bit of both. Like I would go visit him sometimes at the hospital, and he'd have like patients' rooms ready for him, and he's like responding to an email about like sugar or protein or something. I'm like, what are you doing? Your patients, you know. So I think he got a taste for both at the same time, and I think because he saw that there was potential there, and he, right, Andrew, like when you started working, and he saw that there was potential, and that, you know, he could do this. There was a chance. I think that little chance, while he had both eggs, you know, like in his hands, he was able to make that decision. Like, I'm willing to try this and go for it. Yeah,
I mean, I will say that I was very fortunate to have a fallback plan, right? If things were to fall apart, I still, you know, have a job. I was still secure. You know, kind of the ongoing joke during my residency is that I would see a patient, step out of the room and order 40,000 pounds of organic cocoa, and then go back and see another patient. So I got to do, like Kathy said, I was able to do both. And so I got a taste of both. But I'll tell you that I think, you know, as much as I love medicine and I enjoy medicine and you know, speaking with patients, I just loved what I was doing with Orgain much more. It almost didn't feel like work. I would look forward to answering these questions. And I love the innovation side. You know, it's just so much more dynamic for me. And what products are you going to come out with? And quite frankly, it's fun to be up against these big giants, these big companies that are very slow moving. It's fun to be the nimble, dynamic company, and I enjoyed that. I enjoyed the challenge. It's been fun.
Awesome. Yeah. Thank you for that, guys.
Yeah, thanks, Chris.
Thank you, Chris. Any other questions? I know people are really, okay, there's somebody else calling. Wow, fast and furious here. Okay, I'm going to bring on Mark E. from DC, I believe. Hey, Mark, how are you, buddy?
Hello, thank you so much. That was a really inspiring story. Really learned a lot during your talk. Thank you.
Thank you.
The question that I have is, when you're making essentially a scalable business, what it sounds like you guys are doing, and you start from this one person, one man shop to something that's larger, just some practical ways that you have learned in scaling a larger business, and also, I guess more importantly, actually instilling or inspiring the same sort of passion that you have for the product and your vision and all those things to your employees, to other people?
Yeah, that's a great question. So I think one of the most important things for me was, in the beginning, I wanted to learn everything. So I was ordering ingredients, I was shipping product, I was scheduling production, I was dealing with the USDA and FDA, and I wanted to learn everything. I wanted to know the ins and outs of everything. And that helped, I think, tremendously. Because then when I hired people that's what they've been doing their whole life, and they're smarter than you, you learn a lot from them, but at the same time, you have a background and an understanding. So as you're scaling up and they're doing things, you have, you have the knowledge. You have the knowledge and can question them on things and say, well, why are you doing it this way? Teach me about this. So I was very fortunate to learn kind of the A to Z of the company because I had no choice. But I would say that was the biggest blessing for me, was knowing all of that. Now, instilling the passion in the employees is sometimes a challenge. Now, first, you got to make sure that you're hiring the right people, that they have the same values as you do, that they're focused on what our vision is. But it's constant reminders. We get emails and letters every day from people that are dealing with cancer, and this product has helped them sustain their life. Or we had a story that went viral on social media about a kid named Lucas that was waiting a liver transplant and was living on Orgain. It was his sole source of nutrition. And the girl that donated her liver to him, when they met, she was end stage, a young girl. When they met, she was drinking Orgain as well. So it's a really inspiring story to hear. And any inspiring story I hear, I share it with the employees, and I remind them, and I say, as great as it is to get into Walgreens and CVS and Target and all of these things, this is why we're doing what we're doing. And whether you're entering an order in, whether you're focusing on quality, whether you do this, please remember that this is why I created the company, and this is why I'm going to continue with the company, is that we have to keep this focus.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
Thanks, Mark. Okay, I know I've kept everyone longer, but people are so interested and the numbers keep going up. So I'm going to get you guys out on these 2 questions, okay? And actually, you know what? I'm going to pin this question that's been sitting up there, and maybe Andrew can take that one, and then I'll ask both of you after kind of you address that question. Final question, and then I also want to get you guys to talk about where you can find your product. Final question to both of you is, how have you seen the hand of God in your business? And kind of sharing a little bit about that. So maybe if you can address the question that's pinned, and then a second question.
Okay.
And then if anybody has any other questions, you can just shoot them over there quickly, and we'll try to do a lightning round if you got more.
Okay, great. So the question, what advice would you give young leaders who are transitioning into a leadership role who have never been viewed as leaders before? Whether that's at work and family or any real life. So, you know, I think that the key advice for me is that you have to make sure, get ready to be humbled, right? I think that's the most important thing. Really understanding that it's not as easy as you think. So not just time-wise, resource-wise, money-wise, everything. Transitioning into a leadership role is going to make you, it's not really being smart, it's more wisdom, I think. So I think you become more wise by making mistakes and learning from others. And I focused on, learning from leaders that I came to really appreciate. So I would research leaders that I respected and how they dealt with their employees, and I learned from them. And there's a lot of leaders out there doing a wonderful job and a much better job than I ever would. And you learn from them, understanding that you want to apply your values and morals to your own company. And with time, the leadership thing, it's not something that you're not born with it. It's just something that you continue to develop, I think, right?
Yeah, and I also, just to add to that, I think like you have to be okay to mess up, realize you can't be perfect and you're not going to be, but I think what helps you become that leader is whenever you mess up is you get back up right away and you keep going and you keep pressing forward over and over and over again. And it's that persistence and it's that dedication and that relentless pursuit, I think, is what's going to take you to that goal.
Yeah, I think I'll add just one thing. I think leaders are really leaders become leaders when things go absolutely wrong, right? I think, and we have things go absolutely wrong every month, and everyone's freaking out and everyone in the office, and it takes a certain calm and a leader to come in and say, let's think about this systematically. Let's be calm, and I think with time, in the beginning, I can't say that I was good at that, but with time, I've become better at it.
And before Kathy jumped in, I was totally going to say that the fear of failure, to me, I just speak it personally, is something that crippled me as a leader for so long, that it didn't allow me to gain a proper perspective of this isn't the end of the world.
Right.
There is, a much bigger picture, and kind of keep my eyes on the prize, that kind of knowing your mission, knowing your vision, knowing your long-term goals. So not everything is like Armageddon. Like, it's not like World War III, if the world's going to end. Like, that ability to fail and get back up, I think every leader shares that same principle.
Yeah, and everyone fails. Everyone fails, and I think those that fail sometimes a little bit more miserably end up succeeding a little bit more. So.
Yeah. And to be honest, and I'll speak for the 90 people that are on right now, it's so nice to hear your story, because people walk into a grocery store and they can walk into, how many, you said 25,000 grocery stores, and find your product and say, these guys got this, gigantic corporation and they've been doing it right from day one. And you mentioned the number of trials and tribulations that you guys went through. So that's a part of the success and part of the story.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely.
And then I'll get you guys out. Nancy Josephson's just giving you a shout out, saying, what is the legacy? Okay, she asked the question, but okay. Yeah, we'll get a question in, and then we'll send you guys out. She's saying, what is the legacy you hope to leave as a business and as a family? That's a good question.
Hi, Nancy. First of all, we're friends from a long time ago. So
what's the legacy you hope to leave as a business and as a family? I think, for me, something that I even want to instill in our boys, really, is that every day when I wake up, I'm trying to do something good. Trying to fulfill not only what I want to fulfill, but do something that has meaning and is going to help others. And the company, right? The business, that's the legacy we want to leave, is that Orgain came into the world, and whatever happens with it, whether it continues to grow or doesn't, is that our sole purpose and our intention was to help as many people as possible. And I think that's the key, and that's the legacy I would want to leave, for our kids, and I want them to do that in their daily lives. Kathy, anything else?
No, I think you're right. I think you have to see the big picture of what does God want from us, and what are we doing here with whatever He gave us. Are we helping people? Are we showing His love? And that can be done through all kinds of channels. So
yeah.
And I think that kind of segues into that last question in terms of, could you just share kind of how you've seen the hand of God in your business, and kind of, if you had never started it, maybe you wouldn't have seen God in the same way.
Yeah, I mean, I could just speak for me personally about just my my dealings with some buyers and places I shouldn't be, where I go to the corporate headquarters of Costco, and it's usually a huge team, or people that are walking in that are extremely well versed, and I go in and really don't know much, right? I just know about the product. I try to learn as much as I can, but I see God's hand in everything, and sometimes I feel like He's guiding me in what to say, guiding the company when things go wrong. We've had issues where in the early start, our shakes became pudding. They were liquid, and then on shelf they turned into pudding just a few months after being on shelf. And that was it. I thought, let's call it a day, and it was a good shot, and we'll call it. And somehow all of these buyers were open to us trying to fix it and get it back on shelf,
to work with us,
which normally doesn't happen. So that's not me. That's not anything. And anyone I talk to says, you would be off the shelf at these retailers, and that's really God. And I think anything good that happens in the company has been because of God. Obviously, we try our best and work hard, but anything that we've been able to accomplish, it's because He's opened the door for us. And I think that's the real key, and that's what I focus on every day. But I'm not doing anything. I'm just working as hard as I can, and then He'll guide the path. And and we're open to whatever path He wants. Yeah.
Beautiful. Kathy, anything, final words?
Final words, Kathy.
Final words. No, I think Andrew really said it all, and no, we just take it one day at a time. We feel very blessed, but even through the good and the bad, you see God's hands, and the times where you think it's hard and you think there's the struggle. I think that's actually when you see His hand more, and you realize He just wants you to depend on Him and trust Him, and He just wants you to completely put everything at His feet. So
absolutely. Before I let you guys go, where can people find the products? Of course, there's a latecomer, Father Anthony, was giving a little, just a nice little you got. But where can everybody find your products?
So our products are, the easiest is probably Amazon, but our powder is in every Costco nationally, Whole Foods, Target, Walgreens, Vitamin Shop. So it's Amazon. But I will say, so one thing that we do, and if someone's out there that knows someone dealing with cancer and needs help, please reach out to us.
It's not even cancer too,
it's everything.
Heart surgery.
Anything that they may need help. My direct email is andrew@drinkorgain.com. So andrew@drinkorgain.com. Feel free to reach out. Even if you have any follow-up questions or need anything, I'd be happy to help.
Awesome. And I am proof, I know for a fact that when Andrew says that, he means that. He's made that similar offer to me and to the work that we're doing at Hope. So, we really appreciate you guys being on here. And I promise you, this is not the last request you're going to get from me to be on here based on the feedback. So, we hope to see you guys again soon. And we really thank you guys, just like Father Anthony said here at the end, for kind of being a witness, to kind of sharing your story and being willing to share your story. I know it's not the easiest thing, but you guys are really like a living testament to kind of the work of God and what God's doing in your company. And we're praying for you guys and your company always. And then just before I let everyone go, just a final reminder is that if anyone is coming to Momentum this Saturday or this weekend, we're excited to have you. And I will be doing a special presentation on Saturday night at Momentum, and we'll be periscoping that. So that's another video streaming, and we'll be periscoping the entire presentation because I'm going to be sharing some really important and big stuff that we're going to be doing upcoming that we hope everybody here on the Blab, everybody following us, everybody supporting us can really get behind. And it's not specific to geographic region or DC or LA. This is something that will encompass the entire country and something we hope will be huge and bring tons of glory and honor to God. So be on the lookout for that. Make sure you're following us at the Hope Association on Periscope, and that'll be on Saturday night at 8 p.m. So once again, thank you, Kathy and Andrew, so much for being here, and we hope to see you guys again next month. Okay?
Thank you very much.
Thanks, guys.